Good morning. How are you? I'm so thrilled that the house is packed this morning. I'm Jessica Crum, and I'm excited to be with you guys. I know it's like day 3, so you might be sleepy. Anybody? A little sleepy? Yep, okay. I'm talking about creative careers. I've done a lot of creative careers myself, but I'm really interested in knowing what type of creative careers you guys are interested in. So how many of you would identify as creative? You like to creative problem solve? Okay. And how many are like interested in being more creative and exploring more creative things? Okay. I like to challenge people that everyone's creative in their own way. You have writers who write blogs, they're creative. You have people who take photos, they're creative. You have people who are building robots, and they're creative. So there are a million creative jobs. I'm going to talk to you about 4 of my favorites that I work on all week long, every week. So first of all, I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you. You can call me Jessica. We're on a first name basis now. I have been a fashion designer, a graphic designer, and I am now a creative director. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story, and then we're going to talk about some creative jobs that honestly, I feel like many of you guys could start doing now while you're in high school. Let me tell you, they pay a lot better than fast food restaurants. You can charge a lot more for graphic design work than you can for flipping burgers, just being honest. So we're going to get started by, I'm just going to show you where I'm from. This is me as a 15-year-old in Whitehall, Arkansas. Anybody? Whitehall? Pine Bluff? No? Okay. South Arkansas. Anybody? Yes. Okay. So would you consider your town where you're from a small town? Yeah? Some of you? Oh, a lot of you. Okay. So in Pine Bluff and Whitehall, I loved sketching, loved drawing, doing creative work around the school, designing the bulletin boards, things like that. But when I talked about what job I wanted to pursue, when I was talking to my mentors, teachers, about what kind of jobs would be a good fit for me, they weren't suggesting that I pursue graphic design or any sort of creative job. Honestly, it just wasn't a safe route in my town. It was more, if you want a safe job that's definitely going to pay well, healthcare, education, a safe job where there are lots of options. So I just wanted to share kind of my background of coming up in Pine Bluff because, I just didn't have anybody telling me this is what you can do. In fact, I took that aptitude test. Do they still do that? Where you take a test that tells you what you should be when you grow up? So I'm supposed to be an occupational therapist. I am not. Instead, I went to fashion school. I moved to Los Angeles and went to FIDM. If any of you are interested in fashion at all, I would encourage you to look it up. The Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in downtown LA is where I went to school. So if you have questions about that, please ask me. And I'm going to ask for questions at the end. So please remember them. I worked for brands like Aeropostale, Forever 21, Macy's, Dillard's, JCPenney. So this was kind of my fashion design phase. I designed junior apparel, so lots of graphic tees and things like that. So in that process, I had to learn, okay, if I want this shirt to have a graphic on it, I'm also going to need to design the graphic. And so I really picked up a lot of those kind of skills. So I moved back to Arkansas 9 years ago. And started my own design business because I had picked up that skill of graphic design. When I moved here, people were like, oh, you're a designer, so can you hem my pants? And I was like, no, but I could probably design a logo for you. And so I started getting hired to do things like that, and that was all freelance basis. And I ended up having way too much freelance work, and so I started Silverlake Design Studio. We now have a team of 12, and we're based in Conway, Arkansas. So people on my team are graphic designers, photographers, web developer, writers. So we do logos, websites, and package design. And you've probably seen some of our work throughout the state. But in opening this design studio, I realized I'm not unique. My story's not unique. There are people out there, especially in Arkansas, who are creative and they're not being told, like, this is actually a job where you can make a living. So I don't know if you guys have heard the lie that artists are starving. Anybody? Yeah. Starving artists don't have to be a thing. So I'm personally here to abolish that narrative through a school called the Creative Institute. I opened it in 2020, and it's a one-year program where we teach students graphic design, photography, videography, and writing. And we teach them how to start making a living doing the things that they love. So the Institute is a very fun place to be. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, we've got a booth in the Tinker space, so come see us, and you've got a little card there for booking tours. But I started this school because I know that students have so much potential in Arkansas. One of my designers at Silverlake has been designing prints for anthropology. Like, nobody knows that because, you know, we're in Conway, Arkansas, and anthropology is not based here, but we have made connections and everything's virtual, so yes, you can do anything from here. And yes, you can have a creative job that makes money. So I'm gonna get into talking about a few creative jobs, and I really do wanna answer your questions, no matter what they are. If it's pricing, I love talking about pricing. If it's who do you need to talk to, internships, things like that, ask me those questions. But first of all, I wanna introduce you to a few of my friends in Arkansas who have creative jobs. So this is Wren. We call her Wrenjamin. She's a graphic designer at Silverlake. And the things that make her a great graphic designer, I want you to think about yourself. Does any of this resonate with you? She is definitely introverted. She does not mind being given a project and left alone for like 6 hours to work on it. So she's very independent, but she has really high standards. Like she will zoom in to a logo like 20 times to make sure that every detail is right. She's a problem solver, so if she's handed like a 2-page Word doc, she can make it into a beautiful infographic. And she likes to do something different every single day. So I wanted to get you guys a little involved in Wren's life. If you can get out your phones and scan this QR code or go to slido.com and put this number in, I want you to try to guess what my graphic designer, Wren, worked on this week. So I'm gonna give you a minute to do that. And students who are watching online, I would love for you to also participate in this poll. So you can go to that website too and start voting. Okay, you guys think she worked on logos and websites? Maybe a food truck. Ooh, okay, some diversity here. Yes. Lots of logo and website. What's down there at the bottom? Brochure, promo, email. Okay, okay. Could be any of these. All right, one more minute to vote. How are we doing online? Can I get a thumbs up from my friend in the back? Are we good? People voting online? Okay, good. Okay. 45% think she worked on a food truck now. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. 3, 2, 1. Is it showing the results? The answer is Wren worked on all of these projects this week. Who guessed all of them? Oh, a few of you guys. Okay, so Wren is a ninja, and she can just sneak into any environment and work on anything. So Wren she designed a food truck this week for a brand called Nosh, which is coming to Northwest Arkansas soon. So if any of you guys are up there, they make bougie tots, which is like tater tots with a bunch of fancy toppings. Highly recommend. She worked on a website design. She did work on a logo design, one for a real estate agent, one for a brand called Peace, Love, and Turtles. So she gets to do a lot of illustration kind of stuff, where she sketches elements and then makes them part of her logo design, which is really fun. And then we do a lot of t-shirt graphics too. We actually are designers for the brand Native, if any of you guys are familiar with that brand. And then, of course, lots of businesses need brochures and promotional email stuff, so we do that stuff too. I wanted to show you a little behind the scenes on one of Wren's logos. This is a company that does basically what you guys do, like tech kind of stuff, AV and things like that. And so she designed this logo for them, and I wanted to show you kind of what tech she's using, because I know that a lot of this tech is available to you guys through the EAST program. So if any of the designer qualities resonated with you, I would encourage you to definitely start on pen and paper. That's how Wren starts. And then she uses Adobe Fresco to design her illustrated elements, like the turtle for Peace, Love, and Turtles. And then she finalizes designs in Illustrator, and we use placeit.net for mockups. Have you guys heard of that website? It's amazing. You can make all of your logos look beautiful on anything. So that's just a little behind the scenes into Wren's life. Now I want you to meet Catherine. Catherine is our copywriter at Silverlake, and the things that make her an amazing copywriter, again, listen to see if any of this sounds like you. She's very imaginative. So she's thoughtful, inspired by nature. She's definitely that person who's like, when her perfect morning is waking up and staring out the window for an hour. So she's curious about other people's perspectives. We call her the feelings fairy because she is just absorbs others' feelings. If you're empathetic in any way, you totally know what I'm talking about. When someone walks by and they're sad, you kind of feel like, oh no, am I sad now? So this is Catherine. She's an incredible writer, and I think being able to absorb kind of the perspectives of others really helps her to write in other people's voice. So like when you're a copywriter, I mean, you can write novels for yourself, but in marketing, copywriters typically are writing for all different types of companies. So you have to sometimes write in a really playful way and sometimes write in a really professional way. So Catherine's awesome at that. And we're gonna do another poll. So let's see. I think I have to make it live. Which of Catherine's writing projects would you like to try? I'm always interested to know if there are people who are interested in writing. It's actually a very high demand job in marketing. It's hard to find good copywriters. Oh, somebody might like to novel edit. Video scripts, yes, we definitely work on video scripts. We do nonprofit videos. I'm sure you guys have done video stuff too, where you have to kind of write the outline of what you're gonna do. Whenever you're working with a client, you wanna like take them there, you know, give them like paint a picture of what the video is gonna be like before you get the project started. And so in a lot of scenarios, copywriters write scripts for commercials before they're ever shot. And yes, all marketing materials need writing. We don't have a lot of poets in the audience. Interesting. Website about pages. Have you ever been to a website and it's just like an entire book of copy? And you're like, nobody in the world reads this. That's honestly the beauty of having a great copywriter work on a website, is that they can take that full page of copy and turn it into one paragraph that says what it needs to say. So if you like doing stuff like that, then you might make a great copywriter. Okay, this is very interesting that you guys are interested in video and novel editing. Those are very like two ends of the spectrum. If you're interested in novel editing and you know someone who's got a really cool story, a lot of an editor's job for a novel is to help pull that story out of them and encourage them to write a first draft. So, and some people don't think in terms of like words on paper. So some people will start writing their novel by just like recording it audio on their phone. And as a novel editor, maybe you could help them bring that audio recording to life as a book. All right, so just a little glimpse into how Catherine writes blogs, what she's using as far as technology goes. Obviously, we use Google Docs for everything, just like the rest of the world, because it's a really awesome way to share information. So that's something that you guys are probably already using and will continue to use throughout your professional lives. We always have a thesaurus. There's no shame in thesaurusing. And we build a lot of our sites on Squarespace. And so if you're building sites on, has anybody built on like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace or anything like that? So actually, really awesome skill no matter what you want to do. Even if you don't want to be a web developer, if you are a copywriter or a graphic designer, it's awesome to know how to use those website builders so that you can plug in your own content. Okay, I want you to meet Joe now. He is a videographer. He has just recently moved to Dallas, but he's from Little Rock, Arkansas. And he has a YouTube, which you should definitely check out. His name is Joe Klein. And he is an awesome videographer because he's just tireless. Like, this dude could work a 16-hour day and feel alive at the end of it. He's persistent. He is not going to stop until he gets the shot he wants. So if you're someone like that, like maybe to a fault, like you might think that perfectionism is a flaw that you have, but really I feel like people in video have to have a really high standard and a strong eye for making something excellent, because y'all, you cannot get the cast together, the crew together, everybody back together after something's already been shot. Like, if you are interested in film, become excellent at getting what you need while you're there, because reshoots are horrible. And if any of you guys have actually worked on videos before, you know what I'm talking about. Joe is imaginative. Every creative in the world is creating something that didn't exist before. So in every creative field, you have to have some type of imagination, but especially video. Like, you are taking a concept from your mind and creating a visual medium, and you have to involve so many people in it. So if you're someone who loves to share vision or ideas, video might be a really fun job for you to try. And he is always trying to learn something new. I mean, as with any job, tech changes all the time, but video especially. I mean, like, I feel like next year we're gonna be shooting in 15 million K, and everybody's gonna have to get used to that. But if you are interested in technology and storytelling, and you're a really hard worker, you might make an awesome videographer. So I wanna know what type of video equipment you guys have worked with. I know that you have access to all of these things through EAST, and if your school doesn't have cameras or lighting, you can ask your facilitator to request those things. For real, like, EAST has tons of resources, and if you ask, you will receive them. Very important that you know how to edit. I'm so happy that you guys have experience with editing software. Is it Premiere? How many of you have edited in Premiere, Adobe Premiere? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So actually, how many of you enjoyed editing in Premiere? Okay, look, there are freelance jobs for you now. Anybody who does video will tell you that finding an awesome editor who actually likes editing is a feat. So really, if you're interested in editing, I would encourage you to go out and meet agencies or people who are already creating content, like video content for commercial clients, and ask them for an internship and tell them you like editing, because that is not normal. You are a special unicorn if you like editing. He's like nodding in the back, our AV guy. Okay, lots of you have used a camera. Tripod, yes, of course. Definitely encourage you guys to pick it up on the lens usage. If you're using a camera, you should definitely be more familiar with what lenses can do, because it'll set you apart if you know what lens to use for what. Okay, so this is a behind the scenes video of Joe. I think it'll play if I hit this. So I wanted to share, have you heard of studiobinder.com? It's an awesome resource. Again, ask your facilitator if you're interested in film. Being familiar with a program like Studio Binder will just kind of help you to understand the process of pre-production, gathering props, writing scripts, things like that. And then obviously we are always very well organized when we do a shoot, so scheduling is important. Flex those administrative skills. And he does a lot of editing in Adobe Premiere, so really cool that you guys are already using what Joe uses. All right, now I want you to meet Daniel. Daniel's a photographer, and he lives in Northwest Arkansas. He is from Little Rock, and the things that make him an awesome photographer, anybody in here interested in photography? Okay, a lot of you guys. Things that make him an awesome photographer are that he's friendly. Like, no, a lot of people don't want their photo taken, shocking, and they don't know how to act. You ever get in front of the camera and you're like, what do I do? Outfit post, and you're like, how do I pose? Tell me what to do. This is why friendly photographers need to exist, because if you have somebody in front of the camera that doesn't know what to do, your friendliness, your personality can immediately put them at ease. So photographers, I encourage you to never waste a compliment, to help, verbalize your encouragement. These are skills that you need to flex, because as soon as somebody's in front of the camera, you'll start thinking about all of the tech. You're like, oh, let me change my ISO, let me change all my settings. And the person in front of your camera is just like, I'm sinking into quicksand. Tell me what to do. So often you want to be thinking even more about the subject than you might instinctually think about them. Being focused is really important for a photographer, because editing photos, if you want to be excellent at that, is a time-consuming thing. And then just being an easygoing person, I feel like, is helpful when you're a photographer, because it can be a stressful place to be on set, and if you're easygoing, it helps set everyone at ease. And I think that makes Daniel an awesome photographer is that he's just interested in other people's stories. So when he has somebody, like if he's going to shoot somebody who does music or something like that, he wants to know, like, who are you? What makes you unique? So that he can bring that to life in a photo. Okay, we are nearing the end, so I have a quiz for you. And the first question oh, it's showing who else coming in. Oh my gosh. I think Jessica was like a really popular name in the 80s, and it's just not anymore. Are any of you guys named Jessica? This is crazy, because if I was in a room of people that are my age, I'm 32, there would be like 15 Jessicas in the room. There must be a common name. Allie is a common name. I'm seeing Allie, Allison. For those of you who have common names, I feel your pain. I tried to start going by Malaya, my middle name, when I was in college, and it just felt like I was a fraud every time I introduced myself as Malaya. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna ask first, which creative job loves to research? You have to do it very quickly, obviously. I gave it 10 seconds. I hope that was enough. Oh, writing. Okay, be quick if you missed that one. The next one's coming quick. Which creative job loves to research? Writing. Yes, you're right. Okay, which two creative jobs need the most patience and persistence? Patience and persistence. Okay, a lot of you said photography and videography. Ooh, videography and writing. Mostly because, every life requires patience and persistence, does it not? But videography really requires you to keep working even when you're tired, to get to the shot you want even when everybody's tired. And then with writing, the persistence comes in drafts. If you guys have ever written a paper that some of you probably have teachers who are like, can you, do a second revision round, do a third, do a fourth, do a fifth. It's not done yet. Keep editing, keep editing, keep editing. That's on purpose. They're conditioning you for the real world, because in real writing projects, you are editing to no end. And so as a writer, you do need a lot of patience and persistence, and you have to just have that internal drive that just wants to be better, wants to make something better every single time. Which two creative jobs require strong technical skills? Technical skills. Videography and graphic design. Bam! You nailed it. All right. Last one. Which two creative jobs require quick decision making? Quick decision making. Okay, photography and videography. Nailed it again. Oh my gosh. Okay, oh my gosh, Carter, who are you? What? Congratulations, you got 3 out of 4 right in the fastest time. No 4 out of 4s, probably because that first one was a little quick for everyone. Well, thanks for participating in that. I'm ready for questions, and you can actually use this QR code to send me questions. Those of you online, you can do the same thing. One of the questions I get asked a lot, yeah, go ahead. Yes, Adobe Premiere is the one that most people are going to want you to be familiar with. Yeah. And I would actually encourage you, the 2 biggest things that I think people miss when they're first starting out with Adobe Premiere are the audio effects. So just learning how to reduce noise on your audio is really important. And then color correction. Yes, so dabble in that. Other questions? Yes. Oh, she's bringing a mic to you.
Does Adobe Premiere cost anything?
Yeah, but East should be able to give you access to Adobe Premiere for free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Any other questions in person? Yes, we have one over here. I'm getting a lot online too. I'm going to try to get to them all. I tried to breeze through this presentation so I could get to all your questions.
When you did graphic design, what website or app did you find yourself using the most?
Definitely you want to get started in Adobe Illustrator so that you can learn how that pen tool works. That's like your best friend if you're fast with the pen tool. And one of the best ways to get started in Adobe Illustrator with the pen tool is to practice writing your name with the pen tool. Oh, yes. I'm going to go over here. I'll come back to you, Jasper.
Does it help if you're certified in Adobe Premiere and Microsoft?
People always ask me about resume stuff when I do these presentations, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I look at the work. I don't necessarily look at the resume. I know that's probably counter to what you hear from other professions, but in creative fields, I hired my graphic designer, Khalif, off of Instagram last year. I saw his work. I gave him a test project, and he nailed it, and I hired him full-time. So just know that your social media and the work that you put online is, in creative fields, even more important than your resume. Okay, Jasper had his hand up. Jasper spent a lot of time at our Creative Institute booth yesterday, so when we have our East shirt designed, which you guys should stop by so you can see the update, a lot of your illustrations are going to be in it.
Do you ever have clients that ask you to specifically use non-Adobe software? Adobe?
Yes, we have clients who want to be able to edit their own stuff after I've designed it, and so we design that stuff in Canva. And no shame in using Canva if you're an aspiring graphic designer. It's an amazing tool. I built my whole presentation in Canva. It's got awesome, stock images and elements, and when you pass it on to your clients, they can edit it, so that's beautiful.
What's the best method to work together with a group?
Ooh, best method to work together as a group. Somebody has to be in charge. I don't know if that's my boss babe talking, but somebody has to be in charge. You have to have somebody who's doing the creative direction on a creative project. So find somebody in the group who has the vision, who knows what they want it to look like in the end, and then everybody else is going to follow that vision and get to an end product if there's a leader.
How long were you in fashion school?
I went to fashion school for 2 years. So I actually have an associate's degree, and I'm a business owner, and I run a nonprofit. So one of the reasons I started this 12-month program trade school kind of thing is because I know that 4-year degrees are very popular, but I believe that's not the only way, because I have a 2-year degree, and work and persistence has gotten me to where I am today. So I was in school for only 2 years, and the beauty of that is that we didn't do any busy work. It was, when we were studying history, it was the history of fashion. When we were studying any math subjects, it was buying and merchandising. So I just loved that because every class had a purpose, so I'm a huge fan of trade schools.
We're going to ask some questions from our virtual attendees. What is your favorite part of your job?
Ooh, I actually am glad that you asked the collaboration question because that is one of my favorite parts of my job. Every time we design a logo, we do a kickoff meeting where we all surround this sketch table and we just sketch ideas. And as the leader, I feel it my responsibility to put all the bad ideas out there first so that people feel more comfortable. And you have to go through bad ideas to get to good ideas. So yeah, I love kickoff meetings for logos. I have a lot of questions on this audience Q&A too. Can you see them?
No, I can see the ones coming through our
Okay,
Junior app.
I'm gonna try and read through a couple of them. How much do you get paid? That's a big factor in choosing my job. So whenever we design a logo, I'm gonna just tell you what we charge. We charge $900 for a logo design. We charge $2,400 for a basic website design, $3,800 for an e-commerce web design. Her eyebrows are like up to the ceiling. It's for good design, people will invest. I mean, look at the world around us. Yes, so we actually have people come back to us for ongoing marketing needs. If they need to add a page to their website or have a list of edits, we give them a flat rate for that. And it's based on $100 an hour rate. So I hope that helps answer that question. What made you want to do this? I get bored very easily. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be doing the same thing every day. I don't like sitting at a desk all the time. I love a new challenge every single day, so that's why I've pursued creative careers all my life. Can I go to this question in person?
Did you want to do that job? Or did you have other jobs you wanted to do?
Yeah, I moved to Los Angeles because I wanted to be an actress. So I really feel like I missed my chance on the Disney Channel, to be honest with you. I could still play a 16-year-old if I really wanted to. So no, I did. I went to Los Angeles to be an actress, and fashion school was my backup plan. And it took over my life because I loved it so much. And that's what I ended up doing. It's a good question. You just never know, you guys. I always encourage people to say yes. Say yes to opportunities, pursue the things that people tell you aren't possible. If you believe in it and you put the work in and you do the research, now don't go back to your parents and be like, this lady told me that she was a fashion designer, so now I want to be a fashion designer. You also want to tell your parents, I've researched this school, this is how much it costs, these are the average salaries of a fashion designer, these are the opportunities in Arkansas, these are the opportunities around us. Do your research. When I was 16 years old, I applied to fashion design school, and my mom basically didn't know anything about it until I was accepted. And it's important that you're very independent in your pursuit of a creative career. If that's what you want to do, you have to put the work in and do the research to make it a lucrative career for you. What college do you recommend for photography? If you want to stay in Arkansas, I know UCA has a really good video program, and all that same equipment is used in photography. If I'm being honest with you, I would recommend shadowing or interning with a photographer and getting started as a freelancer, and I would not spend $40,000 on an education for photography. Just my 2 cents. Which is better, Adobe or Canva? Okay, we talked about that. What college did you go to? The Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. Ooh, somebody else is asking about college for a photographer. Man, I hope I'm not unpopular with your parents by telling you to go to trade school or not go to school at all. What software do you use to make logo designs? Yes, Illustrator. Yes. Can I know a little more about the classes? We run like a college. We have 24 hours of project work and portfolio work at the Creative Institute. And you work alongside professionals who are doing this every single day. So a couple of the people that I introduced, like Daniel, the photographer, is our photography instructor. He takes our students on real shoots, and we match you up with 20 clients for the year, and you actually have a portfolio of 20 projects by the time you graduate. Yes?
We have a virtual attendee who wants to know if at the Creative institute if you have interior design classes there?
We do an interior design retreat, and so of course anything that anyone's interested in, we bend over backwards to find a way to get them an internship in that field or get them connected to the resources that they need. But really, it's a more holistic program where we do a lot of Adobe product kind of work. So with interior design, you need different type of CAD software for that type of career. So we actually don't study that in the institute, but we do take a creative retreat to Northwest Arkansas to study under interior designers. Let's see. How much money do you make yearly? Okay, I told you I don't mind talking about pricing. My design studio brought in $700,000 last year. And when we first started and I was solo, we were probably doing like $70,000 a year. So as a freelancer, you could probably do between $50,000 and $70,000 a year. Now, right now, if you get started now and you know family friends who have an idea and need a logo, start working on that stuff. Charge them $50. Like, I didn't start charging $900 for logos. But a good way to figure out what you like, what you're good at, is to just try it, just do it. Whenever someone asks you if you can design something, let them know your price. You don't have to do things for free because you don't have experience. If you know the software and you know you have a good eye, charge something. If you're gonna spend 10 hours on a logo design and you charge $50, that's $5 an hour. So ask yourself, am I okay with making $5 an hour? Probably not. It is okay to charge $100, $150 for your first logo design projects. That's a good price for any business who needs a logo design. Yes?
What did you do to own your own business? Like, did you have to have a business degree?
No. I have an associate's degree. I have a 2-year fashion design degree, and I own a branding agency. So no, I don't have any schooling in branding and marketing. I went to the School of Hard Knocks, where I just did work and got better at it, and kept working, kept getting better at it. Always meeting with people who are farther along than I am, finding mentors who I can ask them the hard questions, like, what should I charge? But no, I got started as a freelancer, and then when the business was too much for just me to handle, I hired my first employee. Yeah. Okay, how much longer do I have, you guys? Do I have 10 more minutes? I have more online questions. Okay, who or what inspired you to do what you're doing? Whenever I was supposed to be an occupational therapist, yes, I'm from Arkansas. Yes, I love it now. When I was 16 years old, I was ready to get out of here. And so I was looking on the far corners of the US for schools. I went to tour a school in New York City, like, get me as far away from Arkansas as you can. And so I went to tour a school in New York City, and they took us on the train to dinner, and I met this girl, and I said, what's your major? Because I thought she went to the college I was touring. And she said, oh, I don't go to that college. I go to FIT. And I was like, what is that? And she said, the Fashion Institute. And I was like, wait, fashion schools are a thing? Like, that was the first time I'd ever even heard of fashion school. And I literally was looking for a college for occupational therapy at that time. So meeting that girl, she doesn't remember me, obviously. It was on a train, I don't even know her name. But meeting her changed my life. And that's how I found out about the school that I went to. I went home and started researching fashion schools. And started, I was working since I was 14, so I was just saving my money, and yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. What do you have a major in? My major is in fashion design and merchandising. So merchandising is like when you select what goes into a store. So there's a merchandiser who decides what is gonna be in Kohl's and where it's gonna be and what departments. It's kind of the big picture of retail. Any other questions in real life, online? Yes? Ooh, she's bringing you a mic.
What is the cost for someone to attend your institute? And do you need to already have a high school diploma?
You have to have a GED. We do ask for a transcript, but we don't use grades to determine who gets in or who gets scholarships. The program is $8,000 a year, and we scholarship up to $4,000 of that, depending on your background. So we have scholarships for low-income students. We have scholarships for students of color because our industry needs more diversity. And we have scholarships for just work. If you've done work and you have a great portfolio, we give you $400 off of your tuition just for that. Okay. Oh, all the questions were on here the whole time. Who was my first employer? Okay. I went to FITM, and when I was there, I started working for a temp agency. You know what temp agencies are? Like, you can tell them that you're available for work, and they'll match you up with work opportunities. So when I was in California, my first job that they matched me with was at Guess, like the jeans company. And that actually changed my life because I started looking through all the files to see like how much money people were making. And then I knew that I didn't want to be a buyer, that I'd rather be a designer because the salaries were higher. And yeah, so Guess Jeans was my first employer, but it was through a temp agency. And I worked in their accounting department because I had accounting experience from my family business. So, okay, I don't know how to go down on here. Oh, okay, I can. How do you get into this career path? Fashion instead of occupational therapy. Honestly, it just sounded more fun. And I wanted to be an actress at the time anyways, because, you know, I don't know. Not a question, you're just really pretty. Thanks. Is your source of income consistent? Yes. So last year I said we made 700. The year before it was 650. It's just steadily increased as we've gotten more awareness. So if you're like, I don't know anybody, I don't know who to sell my video or photo work to, I promise you, as soon as you start, they'll tell their friends and they'll tell their friends. It's all word of mouth. Do you have another question, Jasper? Yeah. Okay.
So how do y'all, when you see like a design description for what they're after, I'm forgetting the name, it's like a brief about it, about what your commission is for like logo design. How do y'all figure out, I know that there's color psychology and all that,
Yeah.
but how do you figure out the elements of graphic design that you want to put in the logos as well as the coloring? Because you also have to negotiate with the person who's commissioning you to keep it close to what they want.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, you know, to be honest, the graphic designers kind of know better about what works with the business.
Yeah.
So what do you do in those situations?
We have clients, yes, who have something very specific in mind, but for the most part, people are going to hire you as a creative because they don't know how to create it themselves. And so in a lot of ways, you need to take their feelings and turn them into images. So we ask feelings questions. Like, we ask, what adjectives best describe your brand? And if the adjectives are playful and fun and down to earth, then we might do something more colorful. But if the adjectives are professional, corporate, you know, trustworthy, then it might be more like muted, calm, like structured imagery. So we ask a lot of like brand personality questions on we call it a logo questionnaire. Yeah. I had another question over here, and then we're gonna have to wrap up, but I'll stay here for a few minutes. If you guys wanna come up to me and ask me any questions, you can.
So do you actively advertise, or do you tend to let your customers and reputation advertise for you?
Yeah, so in the past couple of years since COVID happened and we've been trying to pivot like everyone, we've done a lot of just referrals. So yes, but you'd have to know how to take a referral. Like, you have to know what to tell them, how much you charge, like have all the answers when you get a referral. All right, guys, go visit our Creative Institute booth. Thank you for being here. I enjoyed it. Come ask me questions if you have them.